Hey guys, TechAgent, we're back again after a long time. I'm not gonna explain myself why I've been so irregular with these uploads, but life is busy, schedule is tight. It's hard. It's really hard. Just trust me, on that. I'm trying my best. I have a lot of headphones to review. Amaron Home, DD1990. I mean, just the list goes on, and just numerous other vintages. But today, we're gonna talk about the Sennheiser HD700. Before I get started on that, if you want to just know what I'm up to, because as I said, I'm quite infrequent with these uploads, you can follow me on Instagram. That's the best place. You can follow, know what I'm up to every day. So Sennheiser HD700. Now, I bought this headphone about 1 year ago for you guys. I didn't buy this headphone for myself. I don't need a HD700. I never needed it, but I bought this headphone for you guys to review. And the 700 started life as $1,000 headphone. $1,000 was the retail price, and now you can pick these up used in Europe, in North America, for like $300 to $400. I paid 300 euros for my pair because I bought these from Germany. But that's a significant chunk of the current retail price. So depreciation is quite strong with this headphone. So if you bought this at the original retail price, then I'm sorry, because it's quite a big loss. Quite a huge depreciation. Again, even not the HD700, even the Biodynamic Tesla 1, the T1 Gen 1, that has also depreciated significantly. So these headphones, these high-end headphones, which are not that significant in terms of just value or importance, are going down in value, and it's quite disappointing for people who bought it at the retail price. So $1,000 headphone, that's quite a bit. I paid 300 euros, as I said, and I think that's a little too much. I would be more comfortable paying $100 to $200, but again, that's just my opinion. So let's talk about the 700. Now, I happen to like the build quality of the 700. I think it's quite refined. It's like a HD 650 600 taken to a next level, and that's exactly what this is. It's really nicely put together headphone. It's all plastic. There's no metal in this headphone, but it feels solid. It feels German. It feels quite solidly put together, and I think that's a tremendous job Sennheiser has done. Build quality is quite amazing. The comfort, again, is quite amazing. Really comfortable headband, really comfortable ear pads. Clamping is ideal. It's not too less that it's gonna fall. It's not too tight that it's gonna bother you. It's perfect clamping force. Really nailed the comfort Sennheiser has. Wow, that was some amazing grammar right there. But comfort of this headphone is fantastic, and I really like it. I have no complaints compared to let's say the Sennheiser HD 656. This is a 580, but you guys get the example. That headphone, the comfort is fantastic, but the 700 is just more refined, taken to a next level, which is quite amazing, because considering those headphones were pretty good by themselves. So really good job by Sennheiser. Now I want to talk about a really weird issue my specific pair has. Now, this will obviously not be present in your pair or other HD700s, but it's something to keep in mind. Left driver has an issue where it just doesn't work. To make it work after a certain interval of time, you have to apply you have to spike the input voltage, basically a certain amount of voltage you have to put in, and then the driver and the voice coil excites enough to work. I don't know what the issue is. I don't really understand it, but I faced a very similar issue with my Brainwaves HM5. Those headphones were subjected to a large SPL, and after that I somehow just managed to damage the transducer. So every time I wanted them to work, I had to unsolder the leads to the voice coil and solder them back again, or I had to just spike the input voltage to get the voice coils excited to make them starting to work again. So I don't really understand what the scientific issue is behind this really strange, bizarre jack issue, but it's there, and it's easily I can fix it. But I don't think I can sell this headphone to somebody else, because I don't think anybody wants to buy a headphone which has an issue like this. So I'm kind of screwed with that. But that's something I wanted to let you guys know, because it's quite annoying, and honestly I don't know what happened. Previous owner might have subjected the headphone to very high SPL, or maybe if that was the case, then the other driver should have also been damaged. But I don't understand the specifics of it, but that issue is there. Now the 700, a lot of people hate these 700. People say it's a failure of a headphone. I don't really understand. I don't get that concept, because if you like these 650, 600s, 580, all those headphones, it's very hard to hate on the 700, because apart from the 6 kilohertz issue that everybody knows, once you fix that, via damping, via DSP, what have you, Once you fix that, you basically have a Sennheiser 650-600. It's the same transducer taken to a next level in terms of the overall chamber design, but the overall, transducer is the same. It's the same transducer, so the fidelity is the same. The overall characteristic of the sound getting out of those rivers is exactly the same. So it's very hard to say that, oh, this headphone sucks, because yes, there are issues, but it doesn't suck. It's the 650, it's the 600. At the end of the day, it's just it's wearing a new wearing new clothes. That's it, nothing else. It remains the same once you fix or correct the problems it has. Now, speaking of the problems and the correction required, uncorrected response of or just comparison against the 650-600, the low frequency reproduction you get out of this headphone, the mid bass is just not as accentuated as the 650. So the bass is a little down compared to the 650-600. The overall excursion and overall, you can say, displacement you can expect is going to be the same among all these headphones, because they're the same thing. So excursion wise, it's the same. The low frequency just stock reproduction, I personally I find it a bit less. I think it's a little light on the bass. The mid bass compared to the 650 is definitely much less accentuated, and the bass level just seems to be quite low compared to those headphones, which you can obviously fix quite easily. So the low frequency reproduction is pretty fine. Excursion, as I said, same, but that's good because those headphones have great excursion, so you can get you can correct these without any issues, and they will sound fabulous. So that's something I like. Now the lower mid-range attenuation can be easily brought back up, and the weight can be regained again. 6 kilohertz can be fixed easily. High frequencies are they are challenging to fix, but it's not that bad. It's not a bad headphone in my opinion. I think it's hated a bit too much. People who complain, again, there could be unit tolerances, but it's quite unlikely, because these are all these are not handmade. These are all machine made, so tolerances are going to be quite minimum. But I think it's a pretty good headphone. I think it has a lot of potential. It sounds, as I said, exactly like those headphones once you fix them up, because it's the same thing. Comfort is better. Looks, I like it. Some people don't. Some people think it's just too futuristic, but I like it. I happen to think it's quite cool. Comfort, as I said, quite good. Materials, definitely much better than those headphones. This headphone is going to last you much longer than the 650, 600, especially when it comes to the ear pads and the headband, because the foam is quite resilient compared to those headphones. So one last thing I want to touch is the imaging. Now, Sennheiser obviously has spent a lot of money, a lot of R&D, a lot of time into making this sound spatially more accurate than the 650, 600, 580, and they have achieved it. I think this headphone is definitely better compared to those headphones, slightly, but it's there. The difference is there. Same difference, I think, is the DT880 and Tesla One. The 880 is pretty good headphone by itself, but the T1 is just slightly better, and that better you are paying for. With the 700, I think that difference between the 880 and the T1 in this case is just slightly less, but it's there. Now, personally, I still like my 650, 600 just because they sound more tonally accurate without correction. But the 700 at the current price they go for in the used market, $300-200, I think it remains to be the best used headphone for sale. Why? Because the 600, once the headband and the ear pads fail, the replacements for those are like $80. With this case, the foam is so resilient that I don't think it'll ever wear after even if it wears, it's like 5 or 10 years in my opinion, because the foam just seems quite high quality. It's tough compared to those open cell foams, and I think it's a better value in the long run. So 700 I recommend. Obviously the hate is understood, because $1,000 retail price, original price, it's too much, but the current used prices, I think it remains to be a pretty good used headphone for new audiophiles, or whatever you want to do. I mean, it's a pretty good used headphone. $200, man. I think it's a pretty good price. So 700 I recommend it. I think it's a good headphone for the current price. And I'll see you guys next time with more headphones. Take it easy, and like always, have a good one.